And I think we've got just a dynamic in our coaching staff that's a fun thing to be a part of. They want to be at ASU. They want to tap into all the resources that are available to us, and they're using each other, and they're building just a friendship and a camaraderie that's been really, really special to see develop.
We've got the architect of Arizona State athletics, Graham Rossini. Graham, I have to know, last time we spoke, the jerseys and the 2025 core uniforms hadn't officially been announced, but what type of work went into those unis, and just your thoughts on having a new set of core uniforms for ASU?
Yeah, that was fun yesterday to put out the maroon and the white top. I think we made Sun Devil fans happy yesterday. That always feels good to be able to do. That's a probably 2-year-old process at this point, and I don't remember when it actually began, but the team at Adidas was incredible, looking at old uniforms and some themes that they wanted to bring out. Obviously, they're updating all the technology and the fabric and everything that goes into a uniform, but we wanted to bring the word mark back. That was really important to kind of get the Arizona State back on the chest of the jersey. It's a simple design, but I think it's really kind of a classic, like, don't mess up a good thing.
Yeah.
Was part of the mindset going into that.
Was getting Arizona State on the front to stop outlets like ESPN for screwing it up. Like, hey, you can't screw it up if it's in the picture.
I think that's the extra benefit of it. Like, we wanted it back on there because it looks better, but that happened a lot last year where people were calling us Arizona. I'm like, well, freak, if it's on the uniform, it's going to be harder to mess that up. So I think that's probably the added value to the process.
So we've talked to everybody here, and like the first thing that we've basically said, hey, a little bit different than last year.
Yeah.
Right. Which obviously it is. What does it mean to you to come into an event like this that's so big? It's the conference at a whole macro scale.
Yep.
And like Arizona State, for lack of a better term, is the headliner of the day.
It feels good. I mean, I always look at pressure as a privilege, and we welcome the expectations. Now we know that there's a lot of hard work that goes up into living to those expectations, but who wouldn't want to sign up for that? Like, I'd rather be picked to be really good and go deliver than people ignoring you and not want to talk to you. And so it's different this year. I think it's different in all ways, where you look at this version of the Big 12. It's the first time in probably 4 years that there's been some sense of what the conference is going to look like. There's not 2 teams that have announced leaving. There's not 4 teams that joined. There's not the 4 that we were a part of last summer. So we've got the benefit of perspective now, going through last year and understanding we are the 16 that make up the Big 12. And you've been able to really study and plan around these other programs, these other coaching staffs, these other recruiting classes, and what these different programs are doing. And so I think it helps us in all ways. We have perspective. We've been able to plan and prepare. We understand the environment, and we're motivated to go do more of what we did last year.
You bring up the recruiting classes. Specifically, there's been an emphasis from this staff, and I know a bunch of the Arizona State staffs, in terms of trying to better successfully recruit the Valley.
Yep.
Kenny and company doing the Golden Ticket initiative that they did for the class of 2027 guys.
Yep.
Just your thoughts on being able to keep Arizona talent in the Valley.
I think it's the most important thing, that we've got to own our backyard. And yes, we want the skill elite players whenever we can, but you also want depth. And I think all things equal, you build roster depth off Arizona kids in all of our sports. The good thing is our state is now so talented in all the sports that we compete in. We should have no problem keeping the local kids home. And you look at what's happening in football. I look at volleyball as one that's historically had a lot of in-state talent that went elsewhere in the Pac-12. Now a lot of Arizona kids are looking at ASU, given the fact that we've won the Big 12 and Coach Van Neal's done such a great job. Baseball as well. Cole Carlone, who will be a top draft pick next summer. Landon Hairston coming from Castile. We've got a number of incoming players from Corona del Sol as well. Arizona is really important, and so you got to own your backyard.
Yeah.
And that's the playbook of own your backyard for the best players in the state, keeping them home, build your depth there. Then you get elite kids out of California, Texas. You sprinkle in the Midwest kids where it makes sense, but it all starts with owning your backyard. It helps us build a fan base as well. I think we've talked about that before, where we want people to look at our roster and say, that's our hometown, that's our high school, that's our neighborhood, and then come out and support somebody that they've had the pleasure of watching growing up.
Yeah. So, Graham, we ask the hard-hitting questions here. So what's the better moniker? Is it Activate the Valley from Kenny Dillingham, or is it Molly Miller's newly coined Pipeline to Paradise?
I mean, let's use both. I'm all about activating the Valley. I think that's going to be something that has some great staying power. But Molly's tapped into this pathway to paradise. She's got a way with words. The press conference where she used the row analogy. She admitted that was just kind of like she's just freestyling, kind of in the middle of it. I'm like, that's on a T-shirt now. And so, when in doubt, just row. On the pathway to paradise while you're activating the Valley. I think we can kind of weave all those things together.
There we go. Make it the whole term.
Literally.
We need an acronym for that.
I think there was a point at Molly's press conference or some media availability where she had brought up Kenny and the fact that they're cut from the same kind of cloth.
Yeah.
Which it feels like the new wave of Arizona State coaches, whether that be Kenny or Molly or JJ Van Neal, there's just something different. They're wired different. From an athletic director standpoint, just what do you see that separates them as coaches?
I think they're collaborating most importantly, and you look across all of our sports, they're leaning on each other for tips and tricks, how to recruit, what's a unique ability at ASU that we can tap into. We've got incredible tools throughout the institution, and so a number of our coaches are figuring out how do we use student analysts to help roster management.
Yeah.
And so in a rev share world, making better decisions. I've said this before. I don't think the teams that are going to be the most successful in any sport or at any school are not the ones who spend the most money. It's not going to be about money alone. It's going to be about assigning value. And so it's going to be about finding fits for the culture of your program, making wise investments with your use of rev share, and building a complete program. And so there's a lot of resources at ASU that we can tap in order to do that. I think I've seen our coaches really collaborate on understanding, hey, how do we use W.B. Carey School of Business? How do we use Luminosity as this incredible ASU kind of skunk work type team? How do we use Fulton Schools of Engineering? How do we use College of Applied Sciences? And all these different academic units to bring either horsepower from a student or a faculty standpoint, or from a relationship that gets us to a tool that we can use in recruiting, a tool that we can use to win more games, and they're collaborating. And I think we've got just a dynamic in our coaching staff that's a fun thing to be a part of. They want to be at ASU. They want to tap into all the resources that are available to us, and they're using each other, and they're building just a friendship and a camaraderie that's been really, really special to see develop.
Last one from us, Graham. Thank you for taking time to join us. Obviously, last year, I feel like the message to Sun Devil Nation was like, stick with us, show up, like we promise it's going to work out. What's the message going into this season?
Keep sticking with us. We promise it's going to continue to progress. But in all seriousness, it's a thank you to our fans. I mean, the energy that we get from our fans is palpable. It provides the resources that we're reinvesting to keep coaching staffs to be relevant in a rev share era, to continue to invest in all aspects of our department. We need that moving forward. You know, the cost of doing business is changing. Every ticket a fan buys, every donor that steps up, every community partner that joins us, that helps us reinvest those dollars immediately back into it. We also think we drive incredible value for our partners and for our fan base in providing great entertainment, a great way to promote a business product service, et cetera. So stick with us, keep showing up, keep pouring in the passion, the energy. We feel it. I used the Kansas game last year as the best example of we're down by a score, I think 3 minutes left in the game. Kenny gives the ball to Sam as a freshman, says, hey, go win this game. And he's looking at a full student section, 10,000 plus, a full Mountain America Stadium at the end of the fourth quarter, which is not typical. And we feed off that energy to go make that drive, win a game, and it kind of propels us the rest of the Big 12. And so thank you to our fans. We feel the energy. We use it. We need more of it, and we can't wait to get after it here in a couple weeks.
Arizona State Athletic Director Graham Rossini. Graham, we appreciate you taking the time today.
Thanks, guys.